Welcome everyone. I am Rupali representing Vedabi Global Services, a specialist in providing support and services in BI and APM space. We are specialists in pre-sale support, health checkup and optimization, installation configuration, upgrade migration, support and maintenance, end-to-end implementation. Today my webinar agenda is for Essbase backup and recovery. I will be explaining about Essbase backup, types of Essbase backup, backup files, backing up files during runtime, backup data, performing file backup, backup and recovering block storage databases, to backup the integration services, to backup the provider services. So first of all, about Essbase backup. The key part of a database maintenance routine includes the regular backup of Essbase files and data. It is important to integrate regular database backup into the production server maintenance. For the production server maintenance, it is mandatory to take the regular backup of Essbase files and data for the maintenance point of view. So this is about Essbase backup. The next I am going to explain the types of backup. So the physical backup are the copies of physical database files, we can say. And what exactly the physical backup? So for example, the physical backup might copy the database content from local disk drive to another secure location. So physical backups can be the different types, that is we can say most important types, hot and cold backup. Then I'm going to explain the full backup. Then next I'm going to explain the incremental backup, and last one, that is logical backup. So first the hot backup. We can see about the hot backup. Users can modify the database during the hot backup, and log files of changes made during the backup are saved, and logged changes are applied to the synchronized database and backup copy. The hot backup is used to use when full backup is needed, and service level does not allow the system downtime for cold backup. So this is about a hot backup. And now I'm going to explain the what exactly the cold backup. Users cannot modify the database during the cold backup, so the database and backup copy are always synchronized the cold backup, and is used only when the service level allows for the required system downtime. So this is about the cold backup. And now the full backup. So what about the full backup? Full backup, which creates the copy of data that concludes the part of databases such as control file, transaction file, archive file, and data file. So this backup file protects the data from application error and safeguard against the loss of providing the way to restore the original data. And now one of the important things needs to notify about the full backup. The database must be in archive mode for the full physical backup. So this is about the full backup. And now I'm going to explain the incremental backup. So incremental backup, which captures only the changes made after the last full physical backup, and files which differs for the database, and but the principle is that only the transaction log files which created since last backup are argued, and incremental backup can be done with hot and while the database is in use, but it slows the performance. So these are all about hot backup. We can say the cold backup, third one full backup, and last one we can say the incremental backup. And now I'm going to explain the logical backup. Logical backup which copies the data but not the physical files, and from one location to another location. Logical backup is used to move or archive the database and tables and schemas, or to verify the database structure. So this is about logical backup. I have explained. So these are all about the types of backup I have just explained in the slide. And now next I'm going to explain the backup files. So regularly backup the server, application and the database file. So I mentioned the list of these backup files. So you can say ssn dot int means index file, ssn dot pag means data file, we can see, then database sm, tct transaction file, and then ing, then otl, then application file, then database, then we can see the lro, then security backup and configuration.cfg file, and we can say the artifacts files like OTL, calculation script rule, REP equity, and .cl file. These are the files which are necessary to regularly backup on the server. So these files are very important for the Essbase. Then I'm just explaining about we can say this index file, OTL files, which are stored in arbor path of Essbase, and app name, arbor path, application name, and database name. Under it, these files are stored. And now I'm going to explain the security file, cfg and backup file, where it is stored. So it stores in arbor path and bean location. So under the bean folder these files are stored. Then now I'm going to explain the .otl, .csv, and rule, rep equity, and database artifacts files, which are stored in a arbor path, and we can say the location like arbor path, app, application name, and database name. So these are all about the backup files. And now I'm going to explain the backing up files during the runtime. So first of all, the placing database in a read-only mode. So placing database in a read-only mode, or we can say RQ mode, which protects the database from the update during the backup process. And for this we can use the tool, we can say the maxl and is command. And after you perform the backup and return to the database to the read write mode, we have to begin the rq command and perform the following tasks, like we can say commit modified data to the disk, switches the database to read only mode, reopen the database file in shared read only mode, and then need to create a arbor path, app and application name databases and directory files, which default name rq dot we can say the default name rq dot lst, which containing the list of files to be backed up. So this is about placing database in a read only mode. And now I'm explaining the performing the file backup. So what exactly to perform the file backup? To backup the data, and third party utility to backup the files listed in a rq.lst. So perform the backup with the help of the rq.lst. And then returning database to read write mode. So what exactly to return the database to read write mode, and not after performing the backup use tool, we can say we can use the tool that is maxil and its command, the end rq utility. This utility is mainly for to return the database to read write mode, and reopen the database file in a exclusive read write mode, we can see. So this is about returning database to read write mode. And then next, one of the important thing to notify that you must use the end arq utility to put database backup into read write mode. and even if you shut down and restart the databases, the end archive utility does not restart the database. So this is about backing up files during the runtime. In backing up data, so exporting data copies it to the file, and that to specify when exporting the data to the text file, and the data is not complex. So when exporting data copies to the file, you specify that time it exporting the data to the text file, but it's not a complex. The next, that is the text export file, which contains the data only and does not include the control outlines and or a security information. So this is about backing up data, and I'm just explaining the more about the backing up data. So we can say exporting data copies into the file that you specify, consider the exporting data to transfer data across the platform, and backup only part of a data, for example the level 0 blocks, and which you need to create an exported file in a text format or a block rather than the binary format, we can see. The next, backup and recovery the block storage databases. To backup and restore the block storage databases, use either method, we can say automated database backup and restore and transaction login and replay. So first I'm going to cover the sequence for fully recovering block storage databases, using backup and restore for block storage databases, using transaction login and replay for block storage databases. So first that is we can say the using the backup and sequence for fully recovering the databases. So I'm going to explain first of all the automated backup, database backup and restore, transaction login, replay. So backup and that restores the which provides the equivalent function of manually backing and restoring the databases. Using the backup, we restore the transactions, logging and replay the features elimination and need for various manual steps. Therefore, it enables the administrator to the hackers recovers the database more efficiently. Then what about the sequence for fully recovering block storage databases? So when you restore the database backup from the backup, and the state restored database is exactly as it was when the backup was performed. Any transformation took place after the backup are not required, and we can say for example the transaction of a data load and as well as backup. Okay, now I'm going to explain the using backup and restored for block storage databases. It applies to the block storage databases. For we can say the backing up as best performs the task like place database and is read only mode, and protecting the database from updating during the RQ process, and we can say writes the copy of the database to the RQ and the site of the ASBIS server, and returns database to the read write mode, we can say. And now I'm giving just example for it. The ASBIS database are automatically backup. We can say the ASBIS.bag ASBIS database files here, and ASBIS index file for example point of view I explain. Then next I'm going to explain using transaction login and replay for block storage databases. So to facilitate recovering block storage databases to lighter time than restore the databases, so you must be enable the transaction login at that time, and we can say as it transactions are executed, and ASBIS writes the operational parameters to we can say the list of log transaction category, and Here we can say the transaction like a calculation and which execute the default or server side calculation, or execute the client side calculation, or in case of a data load, I'm going to explain which imports the data from different sources to the Essbase server, and they need to be clear loaded data and reset this to the reset this output to the empty. So this is about the data load I just explained. And now lock and send. So for the update database cell with from the we can say the smart view or the spreadsheet adding. So these are all about backup and recovering the block storage databases. I just explained about the sequence for fully recovering block storage databases using backup and restore the block storage databases. And last one I have explained, can say the using transactional login and replay for block storage databases. And now how to back up the integration services. I just added some points to backup, or we can say the steps I mentioned here. So first we can say the perform complete backup of the Oracle Essbase integration services catalog repository. And optional things is does not need to means I have got a second point with optional. So export all modules and meta outlines into the XML file. And next third, that is create and save the list of source open database connectivity. We can say the ODBC data source name and DSN that were set up. So this is create and save the list of source open connectivity, database connectivity. And then last one, that is to keep the current copy of installed software, and along with the all property files such as we can say as a point example point of ais.cfg configuration file. So this is about to back up the integration services. Then to back up the Essbase Studio. So to back up and restore the Essbase Studio components, we can say to the previous state. So need to stop the Essbase Studio server and perform the complete backup of the Oracle Essbase Studio metadata repository, and need to keep the current copy of installed software and all the property files, we can say server.properties file, asbest.property files, and we can say es.property files. So these are all about asbest database and databases backup and recovery. So and the last slide I have explained about to back up the Essbase Studio. And then now I'm going to explain the backup the provider services. So which files and folders need to be backup when we are going to backup for the provider services. That time we need to go the folder location as say EPM Oracle Home products under Essbase directory, then APS and Bean. There is a file, we can say the data source.xml file, which contains all data source connection information for the various providers. So it's necessary to make the backup of this file and folder over here. And next second, that is or we can say the directory under Oracle Home product Essbase and APS under data folder, which contains the smart slices definitions and managed centrally by Oracle Hyperion provider services. And last one, I'm going to explain the backup the entire folder, which including the subfolders under the location for Oracle instance product Essbase APS, and under Bean directory there is a Essbase.properties file. So this is about to back up the provider services. So I have explained all about backup. Thanks for participating in the webinar. We will look forward to see you again in the upcoming webinars for Vedabi Global Services. Please contact us for any query related to BI and APM space. To email and mobile number is available on the contact us slide. Have a great time. Thank you.